You're watching Cubs Postgame Live, presented by Yingling Flight, the next generation of light beer. And Cubs got the party started early with a 3-run home run, and then added on in the top of the ninth. Alex Bregman comes up with a chance to potentially tie the game, but instead that's a grounder to short, and Cubs drop game 1 of this 3-game set against the St. Louis Cardinals. Welcome in to the Marquee Sports Network studios. Taylor McGregor, Rain Sweeney, joining you here tonight. I think the biggest story is Shota Imanaga. The offense did their job. You think you can win a game with the amount of runs they scored, but it was just too many long balls from Shota.
Yeah, there was a lot of positives to take out of this game from the offensive side. You out-hit the Cardinals. You started off with a 3-run bomb by Ian Happ in the first inning. You think you got it rolling, and then Shota, gives up the 3-run bomb to Velasquez, who was the former Cub. So it's one of those things where Shota gave up 5 homers in his last outing. He gives up 3 homers tonight. So it's tough to win ball games when you're giving up that many home runs.
And then out of the bullpen, it was Phil Maton. And JD said it during the broadcast. You see things with him, you're like, this could be good, but unable to finish at-bats. And he was also a reason the Cardinals were able to add on and win this game.
Yeah, he's able to execute certain pitches, but then in other situations, you see here he kind of hangs the slider a little bit. We know about his ability to throw that slider, and we talk about the velocity that he has on his fastball, only about 90-91 miles an hour. So if you're not hitting your spots with the off-speed pitches, he was only able to throw 2/3 of an inning here. But like I said, going back to the Cubs offense, you did what you needed to do tonight. You went in there and Palante only throws 3 innings pitch, and then the Cardinals bullpen comes in and throws 6 scoreless, or actually they gave up 1 run, sorry. So they come in and give up 6 innings pitch with 1 run. So it's tough to win like that. Shota, he has to figure out something. I know we're going to talk about it in a little bit. Before it was his fastball, but he actually gave up 2 homers on the split finger tonight. He was just leaving it up in the strike zone.
Only 4 swing and miss, which is interesting. Only 2 strikeouts. And then, of course, the big blows were the home runs. So that's going to bring us to our professional grade plays presented by your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana GMC dealers. So Ian Happ hits one in the first, and then it was Nelson Velasquez, the former Cubby, who tied things up. And then Thomas JC, who also got one, and then we add on with Even Herrera. So 3 home runs given up by your starter, never a good place to start. You look at his first 9 starts, you think this is a guy who could potentially be headed back to the All-Star game. He was having that caliber of season, but the last 3, beginning with that start against Milwaukee, it's not good.
No, and we talked about in the pregame show, he had a 38% chase rate, outside of the strike zone. So like you said tonight, only 4 swing and misses. So that just shows me a lot of the times he gets that swing and miss on that split finger. And you saw there from Velasquez, he just ambushed him on a first pitch heater. So being a former Cub, he was maybe thought, hey, maybe Shota's going to give me a nice little fastball here, and that's exactly what he did. So anytime you're living up in the strike zone when you're throwing low 90s, it's tough to keep the ball in the ballpark. And we talked about it early on. You couldn't let a few of these hitters in the St. Louis Cardinals lineup, Walker being one of them, and those guys didn't, Burleson, those guys didn't get any hits, and everybody else, it was kind of, I said, don't worry about the bottom part of the order, and it was kind of, I'm calling myself out. It was the bottom part of the order that got the job done. 2 guys that hit homers tonight, it was their first homers of the year.
So it's interesting, as we mentioned, the long ball, of course, is an issue, but the 4 swing and miss, you mentioned it in the pregame show. We just said it again here today. The whiff rate was near 38% in those first 8 starts. And now it's like he can't get that same chase. What are you noticing with the way he's attacking hitters that's not allowing him to get that same punch?
I just think it's as simple as leaving the ball up in the zone. I think early on, before these last 2 starts, look, when you throw a fastball and then you throw your split finger, his split finger looks like a fastball and it drops out of the zone. Now he's leaving it up belt high, and you're seeing guys that they're able to recognize that pitch and kind of decipher between the fastball and the split finger. And like you saw tonight, they're not chasing outside of the strike zone. Before, he kind of got that split finger to look like a fastball, and then it would drop out of the strike zone. Now it's just staying up. Anytime you get a split finger is a weird pitch because in some instances it kind of looks like a knuckleball in certain ways. But if you leave it up, it kind of just hangs there, and that's exactly what happened tonight.
Yeah, especially the last 2 starts, it almost felt like the hitters knew what was coming, but that would make a lot of sense to your point. being able to tell really out of the hand which was which. All right, so the bright spot in this game, the offense did look pretty good. They gave you enough to win, and that, of course, began with Ian Happ. So let's make Let's see who made life brighter today with Pella Windows and Doors. And that was Ian Happ. He had a great finish to the series in Pittsburgh, where he loves to hit. He also loves to hit the NL Central. That's well documented. And this AB puts the Cubbies on the board early.
Well, Ian Happ's locked in right now. He hit a double in his second at bat as well, too. And you see just what he's been able to do these last 3 games. Like you said, Ian Happ is hot right now. He just continues to put good swings on the ball, and it seems like all of his hits right now are pull side, which I'm fine with because from the left side, that's pretty much what he does. He's able to get out there and catch it out front, but he's hitting the fastball, he's hitting the breaking ball, he's being aggressive inside the count, and you talk about him hitting his 13th home run of the year today. I mean, he continues to drive in runs and get RBIs, and I feel like as a starting pitcher, when you get 3 runs on the board right there, you have that confidence going in, and maybe Shota just leaving the ball out over the plate, thinking that he can pitch to contact, and Velasquez ends up clipping him for the 3-run bomb.
I want to read to you on Ian Happ because you mentioned the 13 homers. If this pace continues, he would be on pace to hit the most home runs in a single season of his career. But with Ian Happ, he's interesting. The last 4 seasons, he's basically had the exact same numbers. In the early parts of this season, we're seeing more slug, but we're also seeing more strikeouts. Do you think he's sacrificing a little bit of that plate discipline like we've become accustomed to him doing for power?
I mean, maybe he is in certain instances seeing that they kind of need the home run right now because in the 10-game losing streak, they weren't generating any runs. And when they got runners in scoring position, they weren't driving them in. You see most home runs here versus NL Central opponents. I mean, Ian Happ right up there with 97, but I think it's a positive thing right now. I know they lost today. You have Ian Happ swinging it. You had Seiya Suzuki that got 3 knocks today. Look, there's no secret that these guys are streaky. Just like the team's streaky, certain guys are streaky in the offense. You had Busch get 3 knocks today too. So I feel like you have to at least take that positive out of it and move into that momentum going into the game tomorrow.
Absolutely. The offense did their job. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. On the flip side of this break, we'll hear from Craig Counsell to hear what he has to say about both Imanaga and that offense. So keep it here on Cubs Postgame Live.